And that's really interesting. And
Yeah.
and that's progress.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. And with the new moon around us, so we have high energies and talking about Panchabhutas, then we talked about, meridians, we talked about prana. So today it will be a couple of week series, which is about blood types. Now, we will talk about that, and some of you masters have experienced this, gone through. So, of course, you can connect, you can share your experience. And for others, it may be something new or known thing. But in the past, I did mention about lectins. And this was one thing which was new to me a couple of years ago. And as I went deeper into it, I came to know how it impacts our life, our day-to-day, because it impacts all the systems. And then this is something we do very casually. We eat different things as part of our lifestyle, but we may have no idea, we may have some idea, or you may be well aware that the type of food you are eating, what kind of lectins we are eating, and how and why lectin is so critical in our diet. So before we get to the lectins, we have to understand the blood type. And this is one thing which is for the next at least couple of weeks, we will get into. There is a wonderful book, The 4 Blood Types and 4 Diets. So eat for your type. So this is something that is we will refer to. There are some other books, of course, on the similar topic. Depending on your interest, certainly, please, I encourage, feel free to explore, get into the details, and you're gonna love this. So without any delay, let me share my screen so that we can talk about. All right. So we will be talking about blood types. We will get into the details in the next coming weeks, more about it. We will know more about lectins. We will know more about what type of food, what impacts, and from different perspectives we will see. And if we understand the 4 types and we can pay attention, make necessary changes, not too drastic, but understanding is the first step. So commonly we all know the blood type, there are different, but why it is important? Because blood type really impact us. We talk about health, we talk about, very commonly people are worried about their weight. If it is not health, then at least weight is the next biggest topic that people are either worried about or concerned, or they want to do something about it. Like January 1st, it's a very common saying that, most of the people will end up getting into the gym membership, and then very soon they give up because it's your New Year resolution, and then, difficult to maintain or difficult to sustain. Now, exercising is certainly a part of it, but food is a big part of it. So understanding your blood type will help you in understanding what's happening with your weight management. Student life memory is very critical, like retention, right? Because as a student, you want whatever you read, you retain, and then you can write exams and whatnot. And of course, right from the early childhood, nowadays, everybody's talking about stress. Now, I'm not talking about stress management, because why should we manage it? There should be no stress. So that's why it's only reducing the stress, ideally no stress. And if we can do all this, certainly they all directly impact your lifespan. Because if your health is better, you don't have stress in life, you are maintaining your weight in general or body in general, then of course it will directly positively impact your lifespan, rather than first going on the wrong side of the street, in the sense that, if you do certain different way you lead your life, where your lifestyle is not aligned to the universe, not aligned to the circadian rhythm, not aligned with what we call, whether Panchbhutas, whether prana, or whichever way you look at it. If we are not aligned, then obviously we are inviting different issues in our body. And when you don't have stress, your lifespan and everything is on the positive side, you look better, you feel better. And sometimes you may see someone and say, wow, you have a very positive vibes, or sometimes you say, wow, you great aura. And all this, whether aura, whether it is vibes, it's all coming from what's internal to you. That means if internally you are truly happy, you will reflect it. Similarly, if you are stressed, doesn't matter if you want to, give a fake smile and all that, trying to show to the world that you are strong and all, it will reflect. It will reflect on your face, in your action, in your body language, feelings, everything. So if we do all this right, then obviously you don't have to rely on medication. We know that any allopathic medication that we take, it has some side effect or the other. So if you are eliminating or reducing your medication by proper education, understanding these topics, managing yourself rather than managing the medication, it will give you physical, mental, emotional, all benefits. So that's the reason we are looking into it. Certain elements of it you may be well aware of. It will be very simple, but there will be some, as we go deeper into it, will be new, and then which will reflect that, what can we do? A simple fix for a big problem. And that's the whole idea. How can, work smart, not hard, as we say. And that's the whole purpose of this topic. Now, I must say, a couple of years back, I was reading lots of technical papers to understand this, topic of lectins. There are researchers, authors who write a lot about lectins, but still it is not a well-known topic. One of the lectins, which is gluten, is very well known, but people just know gluten as gluten allergy, or is just one kind of issue that they have, and they just call gluten intolerant. But gluten is one of the lectin. So you can imagine, with popular or proper information, proper education, we can really help ourselves a lot. So let's look at the blood types, what we mean by 4 types, and, your eating habit should be as per your blood type. So let's look at the blood first. And why we are saying 4 types, because technically, if you don't worry about the positive, negative, because that is further division of it. If you're looking at the 4 types, as you can see, it is O plus, one type of blood, A plus, B plus, and then AB plus. So these are the 4 types of blood type that you may find in any of the person around the world. Yes, some people may have positive or negative. So there's a further division. We can say a positive or negative means O positive, O negative, A positive, A negative. Similarly for B and AB. If you look at the percentage, you see O positive is at the highest level, followed by A positive, followed by B positive. And AB is the 4th position. If we look at all the negative ones, you will see the percentages vary between, a low single digit. You have 3%, 2.5, 1, or just 0.5. So if you really see total combined is just 7%, that means 93% is these four. Now, O positive, which is about 42%, means nearly half, followed by A plus, or a 31% share, you can say 1/3. So, and then of course by B plus, which is 15. So that's how, not just one country, one region, this we are talking about the whole world. Now, when we look at it, why we are deeply interested in this is because of the two critical factors. Right from the very beginning, it has impacted, it is still valid today. So it's not something it was there thousands of years ago and not anymore. No, blood or blood type, it is linked to two critical factors, which makes it super important for us. One is your digestive system and another is immune system. Now, when we were looking in the previous session, we said your gut reflects your health. Your digestive system actually reflects who you are. So you can imagine how critical that is. An immune system, I mean, we don't need to talk about it. From just seasonal flu to all kind of serious, critical, life-threatening illnesses, immune system is always talked about, because if it fails, then you end up in some kind of situation, diseases, discomfort, or whatever that may be. Because our body is built to take care of ourselves. Something fails and we have issues. So blood is the connection when we are talking about digestive and immune system. So it's really critical. Now, we talked about 4 types. So these blood types, O, and right now we don't worry about positive, negative, it's just O. You see, it is about roughly 40,000 years old. That means this was the first blood type. So when really the transformation was starting and the initial human, they were there on the planet, O was the blood group and everybody had O. Just one blood group. For a very long time, the whole population had only one blood group, O. So roughly 15 to 20, 25,000 years ago, A came into existence. A, it started somewhere, Middle East, that region, Asia, then it went to Europe. And this was the time when the migration was taking place. As we know, the civilization, how it started, and also from Africa, and then it was just going around different places. And because of migration, because of different, you can say the environmental factor, geographical location, these changes took place. So from everybody having O blood group, now they were O and A. So A came into existence. So you can say roughly about for 15,000 years, it was just O. Then started A. And it's only from now about 10 to 15,000 years ago, the B came into existence. That means roughly for 10,000 years, it was O along with A along with O before the B came into existence. Now B came towards the, the Himalayan region. That's where the, the Indian subcontinent and that region comes. Again, because of migration. So coming from Africa, very hot, going to a very cold place, Himalayan region, So again, big fundamental changes started happening. As people started moving towards colder places, be it the Himalayan or the northern part of the continent or the earth, the skin color, a lot of changes started happening. So why the skin color and different changes? Because then it helps in the frostbite, it avoids, and you are sustaining colder weather. So you need certain adaptability for the new geographical location, weather, and all those things. And that's why the changes took place. This was also the time when the farming started, and the farming made one of the biggest changes when it came from O to A. Because O means it was just go to the jungle, kill, or get killed. That was because they were hunters. So you either kill and eat, or you get killed. Lifespan was very short. When A came, now the farming started. And this is where big shift took place. And then again, B was because of colder region, different perspective, Himalayan, that area. And then AB is very new, about 500 years. That's it. Before there was no AB. And you can see that the percentage wise also is just 5%. So primarily it is O, A, and B. And it's not like they all three existed at the same time. Started with one, and major shift because of agriculture, A, major shift, colder places and all, B. And then because of many like communities, they were traveling, they were either conquering different areas. That's why about 500, less than 1,000 years is AB, when the whole, the East, Middle East, or that area, and all other different places, a lot of mixing in the community. Now, understanding all this, blood type is older than our race, more fundamental than our ethnicity. So sometimes we say, oh, this is my background, this is my belief, this is my religion, whatever. Blood group is much older than that, as we just saw. We are going like all the way 50,000 years old, and we can come back to different time frame. Now, when we talk about any specific race, the ethnicity and region, continent, whatever, we can differentiate between skin colors, different cultural root. That's what we do nowadays. But actually, that's totally wrong. Blood connects us. Blood is the mechanism through which, the footprint, the blueprint of our ancestors coming through. It's bringing all, you can say, the codes, the information, generations before, thousands of years before, it's coming to us through blood type. The genes, this whole genetic thing, the characteristics of our ancestors still in our body today through blood type. So that's the importance, that it is not that, just body is a very simple mechanism. Sometimes we wonder how things happen. No, it is very complex. And it is not that, okay, you are born, so everything is new and fresh. No, it's carrying all the information from thousands of years of your generation or human race. So let's get a little bit more deeper. So as we talked about, type O is the oldest, the most basic. And of course, it has seen the most because it's the oldest. And it's with a strong, and like we'll look at the immune system, And the way it functions is totally different than A and B, the type. So we will look at the structure in detail. And when we talk about type A blood, this was the time when migration started, from Africa. Then we as a human, we were traveling, going to different places. And this is where the agriculture came into existence. This was the biggest shift in the lifestyle. Why? Because before it was just meat and, okay, you can have some, vegetarian part of your diet, some fruits or something that but now because of agriculture, because of having, different animal as your domestic animal, your lifestyle changed. Because now you can store food. No more that you get the food, you go look for it, eat, or hunt and eat. So this was A. And then B, new climate, different populations were kind of getting mixed. So this was where, different interaction with the mind, with the stress, immune system, all that thing was taking place, which was not experienced before. So this was totally new. And that's why this B type came into existence. AB is, as the name suggests, is a mix between A and B. So you have one force, which is more of a hunting kind. You have one force, agricultural kind. You have one where you have a lot of climatic, environmental, all those factors. And now that is interacting. Not very old, relatively very new, just 500 to less than 1,000 years, so 600-700. Now talking about blood. Every drop of blood, doesn't matter what, like we say about cell, human body is made up of billions and trillions of cells. Every cell has DNA, every cell has a similar structure. So same way the blood, every drop is carrying the genetic code. Not just individual, human being. Because it is replicating. In DNA, there are genes which are active, there are genes which are inactive. And that's why it's not just individual code, it's the entire code. And we are not talking about just time frame wise, some 10 years or 50, 100 years. No. You are going like the whole entity, entire spectrum of time. That memory is it in our DNA, in our blueprint. And this is the specific programming, you can say. And then some genes will be active, some will be suppressed. So we are still trying to understand, figure out how this works. And one of such programming or coding is our blood type. Blood type is related to immune system, directly linked with it. It affects it. The way it will function is linked to the blood type. And immune system is what influences the different, whether it's bacteria, virus, fungus, and all kind of chemicals reaction or, all kind of microbiomes. How you deal with the stress, how you deal with all other environmental thing. So blood type is a big factor, along with some other external factors that we may have. And if we look at this term immune, it's a Latin word. So it's coming from a city in the Roman Empire, which immune means because it was not required to pay taxes. Even at that time, it was a big deal. So from this, we got the term immune system, because you expect your immune system so strong that you can get that kind of benefit, that you are never sick, just like that city never paid taxes. So our immune system has this capability, the intelligence, to check if a foreign body is a friend or foe, or is it something to harm us, hurt us, or is it something friendly. And one such chemical marker, they're called antigens. Antigens, they are found on the cells of our body. And one of the most powerful antigens is blood type. Now, then we have antibodies. Antibodies, obviously, because of many reasons, when you're sick, you are given either antibiotics in medicine, or you are talking about it based on the immunity and all other things. But this is something which is needed for different purpose, different types. And our body produces different kind of antibiotic. You don't need to, take medicine, but obviously when something is serious, then you end up taking. Otherwise, antibodies are already there. Same is whether we talk of COVID or anything, we say, okay, once you have gone through it, the body has developed the antibodies. So specifically, one particular antibody will work on one particular type of foreign particle or foreign antigen. It will see it's coming. It won't know whether it's friend or foe, so it will kind of judge first, and then it will try to get rid of that threat. So what they do is, when antibody encounters any antigen, it's like a gluing action. So what it does is it attaches to that foreign particle. It's like gluing it, and then all those different particles will be glued, so become heavy. So it's easy that as a lump to get rid of something. So imagine you have all kind of bad people in the city, and then you handcuff them all together. Now it's so easy. Wherever they go, everybody can see. It's not one, but it's a group going, and so easy to get rid of them. So this is what happens. Make them like a, big group, and then easy to dispose. That's what antibodies do. Now, let's look at the blood type again with respect to antigen, antibodies. So you see different groups have different properties. And later we'll see how it impacts the food and, of course, the lactants. So group A has anti-B antibodies. That means it is not compatible with B-type blood group. B-type blood group has anti-A antibodies. So that means it is not compatible with A-type. Group AB, no, neither anti-A nor B, nothing. And group O has anti-A and anti-B, both. So the antigens in the red blood cell, if you see group A is A antigen. In group B, it will be called B antigen. AB will have A and B because it is combination of A and B. But group O, Nothing. No antigen. And remember, this is the first type, oldest type, group O. So what does it tells us, or how does it impact? So this is where donor-receiver thing comes. Blood type A, it is carrying anti-B antibodies. So if you give blood type A to a person who's type B, it will be rejected because it has anti-B. Similarly, if you take the blood type B, which has anti-A antibodies, type A will reject the type B blood. That means you cannot donate. If you are a type A person, you cannot donate blood to a type B person. It won't accept. AB has no antibodies. So it's a universal receiver. Anybody can donate to a person who's AB because it carries both A and B antigen. It will be rejected by all other blood types. So it can receive only from anyone. So it doesn't matter A or B, it can receive. But other than AB, cannot donate to anyone else. Whereas the blood type O, it has anti-A and anti-B. So type A, type B, type AB would be rejected. O can only receive from another O, but it can give to anyone. It's a universal donor. So AB was universal receiver. This is universal donor. Can give to anyone. It has anti-A, anti-B. So this is something which in the past, many people, if not all, were aware what is your blood type. Nowadays, unless you ask for it specifically, whole life a person may not know what is your blood type. So it is really important that we should know what's our blood type. It's not a question of an emergency, what we're going to do, or if I need a blood transfusion or all that thing. No, it is for your health. It is for your choice of food that you should know what blood type you belong to. Now, if you really see that many food items, they get glued to the cell of certain blood type, but not the other. That means different food items behave differently with different blood type. So a food which may be harmful to one blood type could be beneficial to the another. So sometimes someone can say, oh, you know, this particular food doesn't work well with me, my body. So that does not mean it is not good for everyone. Maybe it has to do with this blood type. And if you are a different blood type, may not have any impact on you. So many of these antigens have, you know, in this food, they have like A-like or B-like characteristic. With the recent study, recent research, and with this kind of information, now we have some link between the blood type and the diet. Because when you eat anything, there is a chemical reaction. Food get first, you know, the digestion starts right in the mouth with saliva, then it goes in the stomach, and, liquidification and all that thing. So chemical reaction takes place between your food, your blood, and what kind of reaction you will have, it also depends on your genetic inheritance. That means what kind of blood group you have. Now, after so many generations, still because of the blood type of favoritism for foods that your blood type ancestor ate. So that chain, that communication, that connectivity, part of the programming or coding, whatever way you take it as, is continuing. It is still there. So it's not a question of, oh, how does my body know what my ancestor ate? Oh, it doesn't matter, thousands of years, whatever. That's the functioning of, you have this DNA, you have genes, you have all the different ways of communication between generation to generation, whether you say from energy perspective, epigenetics, doesn't matter which way you look at it. We all have it. So today we will not go very in detail, but let's still touch on this lectins. So we'll just touch base and see that, okay, what are lectins? It's less known factor. Certain lectin, like I mentioned, one, gluten, is very well known, but not known as a lectin. It's just known as gluten intolerant. Lectins are abundant. If you have heard the name like nightshade family, you talk of eggplant, you talk of tomato, you talk of capsicum, they have lectins. Of course, gluten we all know, wheat in general. Other than gluten, there are other lectins. So again, lectins act in a similar way, the gluing thing. It attaches themselves to other organisms. That's the purpose of having lectins. Now, this mechanism of gluing kind of action and getting attached to other, this happens in our immune system. So our liver bile juice is produced. It has lectin. And it takes care of certain bacteria, parasites, and all by the same mechanism. Get attached, glue it, lump it, remove it. We eat lentils, all the cereals, whatnot, and you will find lectins all around. So we will look into that. Is it that harmful? Is it fatal? What are we talking about? How does it work? What to do? Which blood group? All those details we will see in the next session. But bacteria and other microbes, they also have lectins on the surface. And it's like, vacuum, the suction cup. And that's how they get attached to different surfaces or different mechanism, different, whether it's our, the lining of the gut. And certain lectins will work with certain blood group in a certain way. And with another blood group, they may work totally differently. And hence, this information is very critical: blood type of lectins, and their behavior. So if you're eating something which is incompatible with your blood type, that means your body cannot process it. So what may happen? The lectin, if it cannot be processed, may target a specific organ, a specific part of your body, one system. It could be kidney, liver, stomach, anything. And there, it can start that gluing effect. And of course, it goes against you. So lectins, they cause some damage to you, some discomfort. So masters, we will continue for a couple of weeks on this topic. We will know more about lectins. We will know more about what to eat, what not to, what to do in terms of, dealing with the lectins, antigens, antibody, all other things related to blood type. This way you will know your blood type, what to do, what to, slight adjustment or slight change in your lifestyle, eating habits can give you a huge benefit. So thanks, masters. If you have any question about today's session or you have some experience, please feel free to share. If you have done any kind of, your test, your experiment with any of these markers, any of the dietary or what we call functional medicine, there are different ways to find out, get into this. So please feel free to share your story or feel free to ask any question that you have. You can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself.
Gaurav sir, are you looking for the questions now or at the end?
Yeah, we'll take the question or the sharing, whichever masters may have, we'll take it now. And then once we finish the questions, we'll go for meditation.
Yep, masters, please raise your hand if you have anyone has a question or any sharing or any experience sharing or anything, please. Okay, Gaurav sir. Your favorite person is not asking questions anymore, Srini.
Yeah, I think Raviji is not here today. Otherwise, I would have certainly.
He is back in. He is actually traveling, sir. He's with his father back in India, and.
Okay. Because otherwise, I would have certainly requested him because I know he has gone through this.
Yeah. Definitely, he's going to go through the recording. Okay, let us. We can start, and for the next 30 minutes, then we can actually go for the questions at the end if anyone has.
Sure. So we will go with our meditation, and so masters, let's sit in a comfortable posture. At the beginning, we'll slow down our brain waves. So we'll do 7 cycles of deep breathing. If you know Anulom Vilom without a pause, you can do that. Otherwise, deep breathing. Slow exhale and slow inhale. No jerk. Keep your eyes closed. Body relaxed. Very slow exhale. Very slow inhale. As slow as comfortable to you. Seven cycles means 1 exhale, 1 inhale is 1 cycle. This will relax your brain waves, slow them down, which will give signal to your body, to your mind, that you are safe. And your brain will take you out of what we call fight or flight system, and it will take you into your healing zone. So let's continue and complete 7 cycles of deep breathing. Masters, after completing 7 cycles, we'll relax the body. So start breathing normally. Relax your face, your neck, your shoulders. Relax your back. Your spine should be straight, but without any stress. Relax your hand, your legs, and keep them in cross position. Now, your mind and your body both are relaxed. So before we get into deep meditation, let's place our affirmation in subconscious mind. So feel as if your affirmation have come true. Feel the emotion, how you would feel when your affirmation has come true. So next 1 minute, just feel it. The joy, gratitude. Feel it. Now, let's get into deep meditation. So no more thoughts, no more emotions. So now, masters, Let's start observing our breath. As you inhale, as you exhale, observe your breath. With every inhale, we intake lots of cosmic energy. With every exhale, we let go lots of toxins from our body. It is possible that during meditation you have some thoughts, which is okay. Don't feel bad. Don't punish yourself. Just come back to your breath. Start observing your breath and get back to your normal cycle, observing your breath. This is the time we look inward. This is the time when the inner self is more real, more powerful than the outer self. Yesterday was new moon. So today still energies are very high, masters. So take full benefit of it. Stay connected to your breath. Dear masters, let's rub our palms together. Place fingers on your eyes for 5 seconds. We don't want to lose any cosmic energy that we may have on your fingertips. So place the fingers on your eyes for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Slowly, very slowly, please take the fingers off your eyes. Open your eyes and come to your normal self. Come to your normal environment. So masters, if anyone has any question or want to share anything, feel free to do so before we end the call today. Yes, Srinaji, please unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sriniji.
Thank you for introducing another new concept, blood types and diet. My question is, all these studies have been scientifically proven theory, or it is still in the infancy stage? That is number one. And second question is, what is the correlation between blood type and foods and food allergies?
So Sriniji, actually, if we see, this is not new to us, because when you go in Ayurveda, which we will see later also, I mean, they also talk about the body type, which the author, so it's not that author is coming up with something new. Our Ayurveda says there are body types, and according to your body type comes the behavior and the whether it's diet, whether it's how your body react to certain things differently. So these concepts are known to, say, humanity for thousands of years, whether Indian civilization, Chinese or Egyptian, anywhere we go. It's just that in today's world, we are losing touch, contact, and now different authors come up with different, and then people say, oh, okay, this, but otherwise it's nothing new. Now, scientific study or otherwise, if anything is with Ayurveda and all, we have studied, we means Munis and all Rishis, masters, for generations. That's how like all these different literature has come into existence. So it is something that is biologically or scientifically connected, yes. Now with respect to modern science, we may do different experiment or different this thing, but ultimately it is how chemically or biologically our blood is made, how it reacts to different lactins, and that's where the, whether we call antibodies or antigens. So that's the basic functionality, which is again not specific to one person's opinion, but the fundamental fact. Now, the results, the actions, yes, that will vary from person to person, because it is not like, for example, if we say, okay, it's not like if you understand A, blood group A will have this either as a suggestion or remedy, that means everybody with blood A can have that as a solution. Because if you really see billions of people, 4 blood type, we can say like per blood type, how many people, and percentage wise we can see. But it is just to understand that certain blood type, for example, does not react well to, say, milk. So blood type A does not go well with milk. B may go. So if somebody is having issue, then if you have this wisdom, one can change the lifestyle slightly and try this. Same as Ayurveda, nothing different. They will say, okay, look at the body type, or look at this, like we look into Vata, Pitta, Kapha, right? You see which one is elevated, and then accordingly we try. So that's where it is leading to. And ultimately, what main thing I would like people to be aware of is lactins, which will come through this, so that they will understand first why we are talking about lactins. Lactins are all over the place. Not that they are all harmful, but if you have certain characteristic or symptoms, then there are opportunities to make changes to your lifestyle.
My question is, when Ayurveda defines the 3 doshas, why do we need this theory?
Which theory? The blood type?
Blood type and food theory, because that has been invented many thousands of years ago, and when we follow that type of diet based on our dosha, why do we need this? Suppose, let us say, if I am a born vegetarian, for example, and as this blood theory says, O positive needs high protein diet. So where do I get that kind of high protein diet?
Veggies. I mean, vegetarianism is capable to provide you everything. I mean, really, it is you can say the marketing or, the Western world, and that we have this mindset that protein means non-veg, which is not true at all. There are different documentaries or series and books, literature available, which clearly shows that one, in the Western world, we overdose protein. That means we are over consuming, which is harmful because you are processing, wasting, unnecessary. And second, being a veggie, there is nothing that you really lack. All kind of supplements you can get veggie, all kind of things, whatever you need. So it's not a question that if somebody is vegetarian, that means you lack anything. No. And as far as Ayurveda, this is in line with Ayurveda, because we'll talk about in the next session of body types, and same thing what Ayurveda describes as body type. So it's kind of same thing, slight description, maybe slightly different, looks like, old wine in new bottle, but otherwise it is everything same. Whether, we call quantum physics, same thing. Our Rishi Munis, yes, they didn't call it quantum physics, they didn't call it, but Ayurveda already said, first thing is your thought, then comes lifestyle. And when these two you don't take care, now you have invited trouble. So obviously now you have to go to the third step. But if you take care of these two, you will be healthy and happy. So it is in line, absolutely. It's not that something is against or something new. Yeah, with respect to blood types, Ayurveda may not say from that specific A, B, O, but they describe differently, because blood group and all those things, we kind of, their take is a different path, but otherwise it's all the same.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sriniji, for your asking. I'm sure your question must have helped others also in understanding certain element. Okay, masters. I'm just referring to Lakshmiji's question. Will A plus and B plus blood group, etc., will also be discussed? So I'm not sure, Lakshmiji, because A and B, as we were discussing the group, it is same. Like plus and minus, we will not get into detail, but like we talked about O, blood group A, blood group B. So when we talk about A and B, it is inclusive of that. And the reason we are not getting into plus and minus, because when we talk about just the group AB or O, more than 90% things is covered under that. So really 5-6% may be different when you talk of A positive or A negative. And that's the reason, like just talking of the group itself will cover those elements. So that's why there's no need. And as we also see, the percentages of people with the positive blood group is like, over 90% and just about 7% with combined all the 4 negative groups. So it's rare that way. Okay, so back to you, Ashokji, and
thank you, Gauravji, Gaurav sir, and thank you all masters. I hope you all had a beautiful session. So I will request Gaurav sir to take this PPT, and I will post that because it has a lot of good information for the people to understand. But you are going to have the recordings by this weekend. I promised last week, but I didn't. I'm working on a couple of other things, and I could not able to get to this. And I'll make sure that I get it done tomorrow before I leave to DC. I will do that. And thank you all. Thank you very much for going through. You are going through all these beautiful classes. Thank you, Gaurav sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashokji, and bye, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night, and see you all tomorrow at the same time with a beautiful meditation class and a wisdom session by Naina ji. Naina ji is going to start doing the fakir. It's a book, and I will post the details and if a PDF available, I'll post that one. But I recommend that you need to go and buy that book, and I'll post all the details today and who the author is, and so you can actually go buy that book. And if you guys like it, you can start reading it, and Nainaji is going to take us through the first book, because there are 3 books and it is going to be the first book. So Nainaji, we are all tuned to waiting for this to happen from tomorrow. Thank you.
Yes, sir, it will be my great pleasure to, what I learned from that book is enormous. So I want it to be, put before every one of us, so that at least some things we learn. Thank you. It'll be my
Can you
pleasure. I'm
send me a
looking
little
forward.
brief of the book summary or something, that what we are going through, so that way actually I can we can post that one. Either you can post that one in the group too, okay?
Yes, sir. I'll
Or
do
else
it.
you send it to me, then I can post it, okay?
I'll do it.
Yep, thank you. Thank you very much. Yep, thank you. Have a good night and have a good day. See you all tomorrow. Thanks.